Hey everyone, ready to go a few rounds with us today?
Yeah, let's do it.
We are going deep, deep down into Rocky.
The original Rocky.
The screenplay, no less.
Not just the movie.
Uncovering all the gritty
Oh,
details.
yeah. The screenplay, it's like a whole different beast. It gives you this raw, unfiltered look at Rocky's world.
Yep.
Even more so than the movie, I think.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Reading it, it's
Like stepping back in time.
it's like stepping straight into 1970s Philadelphia.
It's gritty.
Gritty, a city where dreams, they feel like they're on the ropes,
Yeah.
hanging on.
And speaking of raw, can we talk about Rocky's dialogue for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Because it screams Philly, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there's also this weird poetry to it.
Yep.
It's like, street corner wisdom or something.
Totally. It's pure Rocky, through and through.
Yeah.
Take that scene, for instance, when he's trying to collect the debt.
Okay.
He tells the guy, look, Bob, if you want to dance, you got to pay the band.
Oh, it's so good.
If you borrow, you got to pay the man. Me,
Yeah.
I ain't emotionally involved. Like, that's classic Stallone.
Yeah.
Those short, impactful sentences, it just creates this
No nonsense.
no-nonsense persona for Rocky. You know what I mean?
Totally. But you still get the sense that, I don't know, being the heavy really doesn't sit well with him.
Yeah, right. He even begs the guy to keep the coat.
I know. What does that tell you?
It shows that he's got a good heart under that rough exterior.
Right.
Just like those training methods of his.
Oh, yeah. Talk about unconventional.
Punching frozen meat,
Yeah. Punching frozen meat.
running through the streets at dawn. I mean, these aren't your typical athlete strategies,
Yeah.
but they show his incredible work ethic,
Absolutely.
his grit, his determination.
And I mean, let's be real. He doesn't have access to those, those fancy gyms or equipment.
No.
He's resourceful.
Yeah.
He uses what he can.
Totally.
Where he can.
No,
He makes it happen.
He's relatable.
He's totally relatable.
I mean, wouldn't you say?
100%.
Okay, good.
No.
Because we cannot forget Adrian. I mean, she's introduced as this, quiet, almost invisible presence. But she sees something in him.
She sees that spark.
Yes, that spark.
Even when he can't see it himself.
Which is, the foundation of their whole relationship, really.
That scene at the ice skating rink,
Oh, man.
gets me every time.
So good.
Where he's pouring his heart out. And you can practically feel Adrian's, admiration for him growing.
Yeah, totally.
It's quietly powerful.
It is. That scene is crucial, because it exposes that vulnerability in Rocky. He's not just this tough guy.
Right.
He wants to be seen, understood.
He wants connection.
He wants it all. He craves it.
And then you've got Paulie.
Paul.
Talk about a complex character, right?
No. Paulie.
You can tell he loves Adrian.
Yeah.
He's protective.
He's protective, yeah.
But there's
But
just this tension, right?
Yeah.
Simmering below the surface.
He embodies all those harsh realities of their world. I mean, he feels trapped,
Yeah.
stuck, working a dead-end job.
Just going nowhere.
And it just comes out as this, anger, resentment even.
Oh, especially towards Rocky. I mean, that Thanksgiving scene,
Oh my God, yes.
the turkey out the window.
Out the window.
Just talk about an explosive reaction.
That scene is like a masterclass, honestly, in building tension.
Totally.
You see his jealousy, his frustration,
It's his own life, right? He's
projecting it all over them.
It's in such stark contrast to the quiet intimacy that's developing between Rocky and Adrian.
It's true. It's
Night and day, almost.
totally. And just when you think you have their world figured out,
You think you know where this is going.
bam, fate steps in.
Throws a curveball.
Throws this huge curveball.
A big one. Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed.
The heavyweight champion of the world picks Rocky
Out of obscurity.
to be his opponent.
Well,
Brilliant.
Talk about a twist.
Right?
It's brilliant. Creed, he understands spectacle. He knows how to put on a show.
Yeah, he's a showman.
And for the bicentennial fight, he wants a story.
He needs a narrative.
He needs that narrative.
Gotta
He
make
wants
more.
that patriotic underdog story.
Who better than
Who better than Rocky?
a nobody, basically, from
Yeah.
the streets of Philadelphia
This lefty.
to go up against him.
Perfect.
And at first, Rocky can't even believe it.
No, he thinks it's a joke,
He thinks it's a sparring session,
right?
not a shot at the title.
It takes time for it to sink in,
Yeah.
the magnitude of the situation.
But slowly he starts to realize, this is my chance.
This is it.
This is my moment.
To prove himself
To the world.
to the world, but more importantly,
To himself.
to himself. This is his time to break free from all those limitations.
Everyone else is put on him.
Exactly.
And this is where we get to one of the most iconic montages
Oh, yeah.
in cinematic history. Rocky's training.
Iconic.
Running up those steps.
The music.
Hitting the meat. But what I think is so fascinating is, the screenplay goes beyond just the visual. We actually get to see Mickey Goldmill's role as his trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found that relationship so fascinating.
Oh, Mickey is essential to Rocky's journey. He sees the potential, right? The raw talent that even Rocky doesn't seem to fully grasp.
And he pushes him.
He pushes him harder than Rocky thought possible.
Yeah.
And he becomes this mentor.
Yeah. That he's never had.
The one he's needed all along.
He gives him the guidance, the strategy, but more than that, the belief.
That unwavering belief.
So we've got Rocky, the ultimate underdog, training with everything he's got for a shot at the champ.
It's electric.
I bet the energy is just palpable.
Oh, you can practically feel it jumping off the page. The screenplay does an amazing job at building that tension. You've got reporters everywhere, right? Everyone's got an opinion. The stakes are higher than ever. But Rocky stays grounded.
He does. Even though he's thrown into this whirlwind, he stays true to himself.
Exactly. He knows he's the underdog in all of this. But he doesn't let that stop him.
It's like the ultimate David and Goliath story, right?
Totally.
And then fight night arrives. I can only imagine what it must felt like to be in that arena.
Oh, man. Electric. The screenplay just captures the energy of that night perfectly. The roar of the crowd, that spotlight shining down on Rocky. He's standing toe-to-toe with Apollo Creed, the champ.
It's his moment. So paint us a picture. How does the screenplay actually portray the fight? Like, what details do we get?
It's brutal, man. It's this back-and-forth battle that nobody, not even Apollo, saw coming.
Right.
Rocky fights with this raw grit, this heart. It's incredible. And you can tell he pushes Apollo further than he's ever been pushed before.
Wow. And in a stunning upset, it's a split decision. Apollo keeps his title, but it really feels like Rocky, he wins something more important than a belt, wouldn't you say?
100%. I mean, yeah, the official outcome, it kind of just fades into the background.
Yeah.
Because you see, what really matters here is Rocky's internal transformation.
Yeah.
He faced his fears, he went the distance, proved to himself that he wasn't just another bum from Philly.
Right. He defied the odds. He defied those expectations.
Yeah.
But there's something you mentioned earlier. You said that the championship wasn't actually Rocky's ultimate dream.
Oh, yeah. Remember that phone call he has with Bruce?
Bruce, was that the real estate guy?
Yeah, the condo guy.
Okay, yeah.
He keeps pushing Rocky to invest.
Right. But Rocky's just not interested.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
He tells Bruce that what he really wants, what he wants to invest in, is a pet shop. He even says, I don't care about long hours. There's no depreciation. Yeah, I like animals. It's kind of brushed aside in the movie, but in that moment, you understand what really makes Rocky tick.
So even when he's in the midst of training for this huge life-changing fight,
his mind's somewhere else entirely.
he's thinking about puppies,
Yeah.
kittens. I don't know. It's so endearing.
It is. It's such a small detail, but it speaks volumes about who Rocky is at his core. This isn't about fame. He's not in it for the money.
Right. He just wants this simple life.
With Adrian, where they can build something together, something real.
And I mean, let's be real. He's always at the pet shop.
Always.
He clearly has a soft spot for those animals. It's really that inherent kindness in him.
100%. In a way, the championship fight, it represents Rocky's fight for self-respect, his desire for a future with Adrian. It's about so much more than boxing. It's about breaking free from those expectations that everyone has put on him,
It reminds me of that quote. The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights.
Yes, and that's what makes Rocky resonate so deeply with so many people. It's a story about the human spirit, the will to persevere, the search for love and purpose.
We've talked a lot about Rocky's perspective, but what about Apollo Creed? What insights does the screenplay give us into his headspace?
Oh, that's a great question. We see that Creed is more than just a boxer, right? He's a businessman, a showman.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. He understands the power of image, of controlling the narrative. I mean, remember, he picks Rocky for a reason.
He even calls Rocky a novelty at one point.
Exactly. It's all a big publicity stunt to him. To hype up the bicentennial fight, he gets to play the good guy while simultaneously guaranteeing himself an easy win, or so he thinks.
Because he totally underestimates Rocky's determination.
Underestimates is an understatement. And the screenplay highlights this so well, you know? You see Creed get more and more agitated as he witnesses Rocky's training. He even goes as far as showing up at Mickey's gym.
Trying to psych him out.
Oh, totally. But it's like underneath all that bravado, there's this underlying tension, almost like nervousness.
Because he's realizing this fight might actually be more than he bargained for.
Way more. And you know what I love about it? This is what makes the classic underdog story so compelling. The idea that anyone, no matter their background, can rise to the occasion.
And defy those expectations.
Exactly. Rocky embodies that idea perfectly. He trains harder, he fights smarter, and ultimately proves everyone wrong.
He shows us what resilience looks like.
Exactly. And Rocky reminds us that we all have that potential within us. To overcome, to push beyond what we think we're capable of, to create our own narratives.
We've talked about the characters, we've delved into the themes, the fight itself, but I'm curious, what about the screenplay itself stood out to you? Like, what makes it such a unique piece of writing?
Well, for me, it's the language, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Stallone captures that authentic Philly voice.
It's so distinct.
It's not your typical Hollywood polish. It's gritty, it's real, it's full of heart.
It's like you're right there with them.
Exactly. Like you're eavesdropping on a conversation in South Philly. It just pulls you right into Rocky's world.
And it's not just the dialogue, it's those visual descriptions, too. They're so vivid.
Oh, absolutely. Remember that scene when Rocky first walks into the meat locker?
Oh, yeah.
The way the script describes it, it's like a modern torture chamber with row after row of hanging slabs of beef stretching into the darkness.
Oh, I remember that. It's visceral. You can practically smell it.
Right. Or that scene where he runs up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
This is,
The screenplay describes those steps stretching into the heavens. It's brilliant.
it becomes symbolic, right, of his journey, his climb.
Exactly. And those little details, they just add this whole other layer to the story. It becomes about so much more than just a boxing match. It's about perseverance. It's about the power of the human spirit to overcome incredible odds.
It's a reminder that great storytelling, it's about crafting an experience for the reader, creating a world that feels real and characters we connect with, and moments that stay with us.
100%. And Rocky does that. It truly does. It's more
Yeah.
than just a screenplay. It's an experience.
We've really traced Rocky's journey from struggling club fighter to, well, a man who went toe-to-toe with the world champ. We've dug into the relationships, that gritty world he inhabits. But there's one thing we haven't touched on yet. The ending.
Ah, yes. The ending of Rocky. It's both triumphant and ambiguous in a way, you know?
Oh, I love when stories leave you with something to ponder. So walk us through it. How does the screenplay actually end?
Okay, so we've got the chaotic aftermath of the fight.
Okay.
Rocky and Apollo are both swarmed by their fans. And amidst all the frenzy, Adrian's trying to push her way through the crowd to get to Rocky.
It's a nice parallel to the fight itself, don't you think?
Oh, totally. It's like she's fighting her own battle to get to him.
To be with him.
Exactly. And as the crowd starts to clear a bit, Rocky, he spots her. And he just pushes past everyone. Nothing else matters in that moment. It's just him and Adrian.
He doesn't even care about the outcome of the fight at that point. His love for her,
Yeah.
it outweighs everything else.
It's a beautiful moment. And as they finally reach each other, they embrace. In the middle of all that chaos, she whispers, "I love you. I love you. I love you."
Oh my gosh, chills. Every
Yeah.
time. See, this is why I love this movie. But you said the ending is ambiguous. What did you mean by that?
Well, the screenplay never explicitly says whether Rocky wins or loses the fight.
Oh, interesting.
We hear the announcer say split decision, but ultimately it's left for the audience to decide.
So it really becomes less about the championship title and more about Rocky's personal journey.
Exactly. It's about how far he's come, his growth, the love he shares with Adrian. Those are the things that truly matter in the end.
It's a powerful reminder that true success, it's not always about those external markers of achievement.
Right.
It's about who we are, how we treat others, those deep, meaningful connections we make along the way.
And it leaves the audience with this sense of hope, a feeling that anything is possible, which I think is really the magic of Rocky, wouldn't you say?
It's a knockout, that's for sure. We've really gone the distance with this deep dive into Rocky, haven't we? Unpacked the screenplay, explored those themes, we dug deep into the characters, what makes them tick.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. But before we hang up our gloves, let's bring it back to our listeners for a second. What would you say is the big takeaway here? What makes Rocky relevant to someone who maybe, isn't a boxer?
Right.
Doesn't live in 1970s Philadelphia.
That's what's so great about this story, though, isn't it? It's packed with these timeless lessons. And I think at its core, Rocky reminds us that even the most ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things. I mean, you've got the small-time fighter. The odds are stacked against him.
The odds are totally stacked against him.
Totally. But through, a bit of luck and a whole lot of heart, he gets a shot at the title.
Yeah. It's about seizing those opportunities even when they seem small or, I don't know, impossible even.
Exactly. And believing in yourself, even when no one else does.
Because Rocky, he had to overcome so much more than those external obstacles.
Oh, yeah. He had to look past all the doubt, all the negativity that people threw at him.
Because they did.
Oh, constantly. Remember, he's called a tomato, a bum, a has-been.
But they really didn't hold back.
No. But he didn't let those words stick. He chose to believe in himself. He chose to prove them wrong.
He had that fire.
Yes.
It's a reminder that we all have the power to do that. To write our own stories, to fight for what we believe in.
Absolutely. And speaking of fighting, another thing that Rocky drives home is just how important perseverance is. Think about his training regimen. Brutal. Demanding. At times, it was probably downright excruciating.
Yeah, watching it makes me hurt.
Right. But he never gave up. He kept pushing, even when it was hard, because he understood that that's what it takes to succeed.
It's that no pain, no gain mentality.
Yeah.
But for Rocky, it's more than just physical.
Right.
It's about mental toughness,
Yeah.
emotional resilience.
100%. That unwavering commitment to keep going even when things get really, really tough.
And, we can't forget about those relationships that lift us up.
Yes.
Rocky's relationship with Adrian.
Yeah.
That's what carries him through.
Oh, she was his rock. Pun intended.
A little bit. But you're right, because she sees something in him even when he doesn't. She's his constant.
Well, his biggest supporter.
Exactly. And their love story, set against this gritty backdrop of the boxing world. It reminds us that even when things are tough, those human connections,
They're everything.
they can make all the difference.
To give you that hope, that strength to keep moving forward. And I think that's a big part of what makes Rocky resonate with people even today. It's about resilience, believing in yourself, and the power of love. Those are universal themes. Everyone can relate to that.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but as always, we want to leave you with something to think about. Remember, we talked about Rocky's dream. It wasn't that championship title. What he really wanted was a simple pet shop. A quiet life with Adrian. So here's a question for everyone listening. What's the pet shop in your life? That quiet dream, that thing that brings you joy. What are you chasing?
What an amazing question. It's a good reminder that sometimes those quieter victories, the ones that come with just living a life true to yourself, those are the ones that really matter.
And on that note, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Rocky. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep fighting for your dreams, whatever they may be.
See you next time.